on. So, I know where you stand on all of this, but I'm wondering, do you understand, what do you say to people who, federal taxpayers pay tens and hundreds of billions of dollars every year that go to universities? And if you're an out-of-state student, you wind up getting less preferential treatment than an illegal alien in your state who gets in-state tuition at the fine universities in Colorado. Do you understand why people think that that's unfair?
Well, first of all, if you're not American, you don't get Pell, you don't get U.S. Student loans. Those are by far the two biggest affordability programs. You don't get any of that if you're not American. Only American citizens can get those affordability programs. In-state tuition here at University of Colorado at Boulder, where I'm recording this program, I see our beautiful Flatiron Mountains in the background, is $15,000 a year. So without student aid, that's what families have to come up with to do that. It's up to each state to decide who is a Coloradan, who's a Texan, who's an Oklahoman. Of course, it's up to the United States of America to decide who's an American, but there's a big difference there, right? Like, you have to be in Colorado 6 months and a day, and then you have to pay taxes in Colorado. That's an example. Other states have slightly different criteria. So we have the ability as a state to decide who is a resident of our state for taxes, for in-state tuition, for a variety of purposes, and that's an important constitutional principle.
Well, you talked about the Constitution, Governor. So 8 U.S. Code 1623, which is a code that explains very clearly that illegal aliens will not be, to Charlie's point, eligible for in-tuition benefit over American citizens who are paying a higher cost coming from outside of the state. And therefore, DOJ is arguing this is the violation of that code, which is very interesting because it stems from a president who was a Democrat. This is Bill Clinton, 1996, this statute, and it sort of highlights just how far the Democrat Party has shifted on illegal immigration.
Well, I mean, that's a strange argument. The first state to do in-state tuition for undocumented folks was Texas, and they had it for 25 years. Theirs was struck down in court. Red states and blue states do this because, again, we have kids that grew up here, and because the federal government has not gotten immigration in order, because they failed to secure our border, because they failed to have, we have the DREAM Act that might cover some of them, or, those sorts of things. We do the best we can with people that are Texans, with our Coloradans, that are New Yorkers or Oklahomans. So in our state, of course, if you live here, and that means, in this case, you went to high school here, you were here 3 years, you're a resident of Colorado, right? And that's whether you're a green card holder, whether you're, from Texas or Mexico or wherever you're from, you're a Coloradan. States determine that. And your future's in our state. You probably plan to live your career in our state. And we treat in-state students the same, and we don't, check with the federal government. That's the prerogative of states to decide who is a resident of our state for in-state tuition.